Well, welcome everyone. Full house today, so delighted to be here. So first of all, my name is Brona Crowley, and I lead the sales team here at Ultimate. For anyone wondering who we are an AI-supported customer automation platform. We're also recently acquired by Zendesk last month, so I've got my new colleague already sitting here with me today. We automate up to 60% of customer queries for support. AI has been a huge part of what we've been doing since our inception, almost 8 years ago. Today, we're going to talk about how AI is something to be excited about in customer support. It's your new sidekick that you can leverage. And also, I'm joined by some leading experts in the room here today. So hopefully very exciting discussion, and we'll also have time for some Q&A afterwards. So save up your questions for the end, but we'd love this to be as interactive as possible. So would love if everyone could introduce themselves, maybe tell me a bit about your company, your role, and then we can dive into it. So Tim, why don't we go in order?
Thank you, Brona. So hi, Tim Marsden. I lead our technology alliances at Zendesk. I've been at Zendesk for about 4 years. I live here in London. Zendesk is a complete and open customer support platform. And this enables customers and partners to easily customize and build integrations from Zendesk into their key systems. And my team actually manages all of our technology partnerships that enable that, and our marketplace. Our marketplace has 1,600 apps and integrations in it, and they all surround Zendesk and really help to enhance Zendesk capabilities to meet your needs. And it's really exciting to see over the past couple of years. Now the vast majority of those partners are all building AI into their solutions to find new ways of enhancing that customer experience with Zendesk. So yeah, excited to share some of those insights and the discussion ahead.
Nice. And Naomi,
Hello,
our joint customer.
Naomi Rankin. I'm the Global Customer Care Manager for Lush Cosmetics. We have about 900 bricks and mortar stores globally, but we also have 21 digital teams and customer care teams, and we use Zendesk. So last year, one of our biggest projects was to get all of our group countries actually in the same instance, which we finally do, which means I can now report all at once rather than counting 10 different reports up. And we use Ultimate for our ticket bot, and we called him Marvin. And he answers about 57% of our initial email responses, and we're also looking at using the flow bots within Zendesk messaging to automate a lot of our website front and app chat messages as well, and that's a bit of a work in progress, but we're getting there. But Marvin is our innovator, and he's like one of the team. So yeah.
Is that Marvin after Marvin Gaye, or
no? Marvin after the paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because we are a bunch of massive nerds. So, yes.
Welcome, you're in good company. And Sonia.
Hi
also
everyone,
co-host.
my name is Sanya. I'm leading our customer success team here in the UK. Basically, my team works with clients with mostly support, sales use cases here in the UK region. And for the people that don't know Aircall, and I remember this actually from my first week in Aircall when I had to pitch Aircall to our co-founder in one sentence. It was in my onboarding. Basically, Aircall is a cloud-based full system that integrates with any CRM or help desk that you might use. Yeah.
All right, pleasure. And we're all mutual customers of each other here today. So the first thing I'd love to talk about with the panel is, obviously the past 12 months have been intense for AI. It has brought huge winds of change. For Ultimate alone, we released a whole new product, Ultimate GPT, which we released within 6 weeks, enables full automation without any training whatsoever, available online. And also a huge impact, we were acquired by Zendesk. So we're now turbocharged to bring our mission right across all of our hundreds of customers. Would love to know, maybe I'll start with you first, Sonia. What changes AI brought? Has it been business as usual? Have you seen a change in the industry? What has been brought about within Aircall?
Yeah, I think internally what we've seen a lot is that, like, through ability of AI, we managed to save a lot of time on admin tasks and just allowed agents more time for that human touch, personalized support, more high impact tasks, right? Just an example. I remember agents before on the calls being always, careful to write down all the notes, that everything is logged and stuff like that. Now that's automatically done for them, right? So the agent is much more present on the call, which improves customer experience. And just I think now with everything going on around us and the environment we are in, I just think that's really like a crucial part for every customer journey and every company. And on our end, and one might say, and I do agree, we did take our time to get into the topic and stuff, but I think we've really wanted to work on a solution that works for everyone. And feedback loop is quite important for us as well. We have open channel of communication between the product, go-to-market, and customer, so really working on a solution that everyone wants.
I imagine there was a lot of human error in that case as well, if they were doing manual notes for
Yes,
every
indeed.
single customer.
True. Now
Because you
that's
used to even hear them
kind of-
typing furiously as you would speak with them.
Very true, very true. Yeah, now that's all automatic.
So are you also able to see results of like accuracy and overall?
Yes, definitely. Everything is in CRM, everything is there. Yeah.
And what about you, Naomi? Has it changed?
It has to a certain extent. Our customers are a bit like a fan base, so they're a bit obsessed with us, and they are very vocal about things they like and don't like. So we've been really tentative about introducing AI because we don't want, like when we first got Marvin, they immediately were like, "Have you fired your customer care teams?" Like, no. So the way we had to bring it across to them was that it's helping you get answers quicker where you can, or to prepare you. So our agents, one of the things our customer care teams love is that he will send, for instance, if a product is broken or damaged, and a customer comes and says, "This has happened, I need a refund," or whatever. Marvin will recognise that and go back, "Okay, to do this, we need this, and this from you." And so by the time the human sees it, everything should be there in the ticket already, which saves a lot of back and forth. So our customer care teams love that, and actually on our Discord chat, a lot of the customers are quite fond of him as well. He's got his own little fan base. So
I love that your customers are so invested. Not only are they worried about your customer support team, but now they also have a fan base for Marvin.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So we're trying to introduce it in a way that still aligns with our ethics and treating our data and our customers' information as ethically as we do our ingredients and the animals we're not testing on. It's all a kind of a holistic decision. So yeah, it's definitely got a place, and we're doing it in the way that works for us.
Love it. And then Zendesk, my co-worker. Can't speak for Zendesk yet myself, so you'll do a better job. How has things changed in the past 12 months?
So things have changed incredibly in the last 12 months. And I'd say, the biggest change is that AI is literally everywhere. This is the key point. It underpins everything Zendesk does. So, from an employee perspective, we all use our own platform, to get internal support. So we see more and more things being resolved automatically through introducing AI. So we're basically Zendesk customers as well.
Eating the dog food.
Yeah, exactly. Or drinking your own champagne. Right?
That's much nicer.
But another key thing for employees, we actually introduced an enterprise version of ChatGPT into Zendesk internally, and with the ask, just go and play with it and see how it can make you more productive. And over the last year, it really has, had a big impact. So things like preparing, briefs or plans or presentations or, just getting structure around work. But especially what I find really interesting is communications.
Yeah.
So you can actually feed into ChatGPT an executive's, example style and the way that they communicate, and it actually tailors your communication for that executive in their own
Did you do
term.
it for today?
That's just for you, Brona. But then, from a product perspective, clearly it underpins our product. So, everything that we release these days is AI focused. New ChatGPT, generative AI features coming out all the time. And then within our M&A. So AI now has become foundational within our M&A criteria. So all the companies we buy have to be underpinned by AI as well. So if you look at Klaus, the AI-driven QA partner, and obviously Ultimate, the fact that you have AI at your core was a key factor in buying you. So yeah, AI is everywhere is the key change.
I suppose that brings on to the next one. How are the customer support teams reacting to this AI? So obviously we've got Marvin. I'm curious, the customers seem to love him, but curious how your team thinks about them. But maybe to continue on you, Tim, what is the impact on those direct employees? Because we always talk about AI is amazing, you can get your order faster, things are resolved. But how's this actually impacting employees? Are they happy about this?
Yeah, I think that I think employees. So employees are quite broad. So obviously employees, internal employees like agents, or employees at customers. But I think overall it's extremely positive. I think our internal employees are happy because you can actually get resolution to your issues much quicker using the Zendesk internal. But I think employees of our customers, especially in the agent in the customer support organization, initially there may have been some concerns around using AI because what's it going to do to our jobs? Mm-hmm. But I think once the organization starts seeing the value of it and the fact that all the mundane type support issues will be removed, and you'll only be there to answer the more complex, more empathic, or things requiring more personal touch. That's what agents will start getting involved with more. I think the positive side of AI absolutely comes out once employees start using it, and so the initial sort of hesitations are removed pretty quickly.
All right, so that's good advice for the audience as well, that it's like once you dive in, that's where it's negated.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously jumping ahead, but I think bringing along your employees right from the beginning on that journey and sharing the vision so that you alleviate any of the concerns right up front and show them this is actually going to make their lives better and improve their jobs and improve the customer support is really key.
And then, Naomi, over to you. Like, do people love Marvin? Are there people secretly wishing Marvin will fail?
To start with, there was a lot of concern because we're not a huge call centre. We're like 150 people for the globe, so it is very human. And we do have those pain points like leading up to Christmas where you just can't breathe for the phone ringing and the emails. So we introduced the ultimate ticket bar just before Black Friday because that was when Lush only does one sale a year, and that's after Christmas to clear out the Christmas stock to make fresh for the January and the spring things. And because of that, people always come to us either with fake coupon codes or when is your Black Friday sale?
Like fake actual coupon
codes. Yeah, they're like, there's nowhere to put them in. And we're like, we know. But then also they'll come to us and when's your Black Friday sale? And we don't have one. Usually our websites go offline on Black Friday and say go outside, touch some grass, that kind of thing. So our 3-week project with Kasia from Ultimate was to set up Marvin specifically to answer those when is your Black Friday sale, and that was going to be the test of it. And we told all the agents and a lot of the Europeans, so the Western Europeans and the UK team and the North American teams, it just hammers them for weeks. And he answered 57% of tickets in the first week, and they were all like, oh, okay.
57, that's quite
it was pretty good. And then we gradually added more intents and sort of added, and we let them suggest what they want him to do. So because we have 10 different European markets, and we get them to suggest
how many languages is that?
15 languages we're looking at the moment. And so he has different intents for different locations, which is most useful for them. And we're saying to them, we need you to tell us. If I just decide what I want him to answer, that's not going to be universal to everyone. So they've been really invested, and each team we bring on, each new language and location, they work with Dean, who's my assistant, to make it very relevant to the customers that are emailing in that language. Okay. So they can actively see it working for them. And so they're really invested. And we have our own little channel chat, and they'll all say, oh, he missed this one, or he answered this one wrong, or...
So they're really taking ownership of it.
Yeah, they really take ownership. Yeah. So each market that is using him at the moment, I think we're up to 11, and we're going to gradually bring everyone else on. Each market that's using him actively monitors for the first few weeks, and then once he's going, they'll just see if there's been something like he's missed or whatever. But they're very actively involved in it, so he's one of the team now. But to start with, we definitely had more than a handful of people saying, oh, are you getting rid of us?
Which is a really difficult question. Yeah. And there is a lot of fear around it. For us, And what we've seen is quite exciting is that obviously AI, it's totally legitimate that you do have those fears, but it's also creating new career paths. So for example, people who previously, maybe some were entry level, there's now career paths such as conversation designer. People are now becoming hyper skilled within AI, within customer support. So obviously an immediate huge advantage. And also from our constant feedback is that day to day has dramatically improved, because customer support is a tough job, like absolute respect to you as you go through. And hopefully what AI is doing is actually improving those aspects. But that's what we're seeing, like Sonia, with an Aircall, like, do you also hear those fears echoing? Have you also seen those career paths?
Yeah. No, I think myself as well. Like I had my doubts and questions and insecurities, and I think, as you just mentioned, we often hear that term replacement when we talk about it. But I think with time, I realized that it's not actually about replacing, but enhancing your team, and being strategic and kind of ensuring that you are using the right path, like the right moments of customer journey to actually use AI where you can drive productivity. And when you think about it, it's a technology that's available for everyone now, right? It's free, it's out there. So I really think it's about balancing out and finding that fine line between enablement and replacement.
True. I really like that enhancement, not replacement, as we go through, because I think we've seen really negative headlines, and there's certain companies like Klarna who like literally are lambasting this and almost celebrating it, but that's not what it's about. And actually, customers we work with, we've rarely seen replacement. In fact, we've just seen people being promoted on. But obviously you're very deep in these trenches. Like, what are you hearing on the ground? And would you also agree with this?
Yeah, in terms of employee agent concerns. I mean, it's the first thing that you need to address. But I think what's really interesting is, once you paint the vision of how AI is going to really transform the customer service, and you paint the vision of customer service moving to more of a pleasure than a pain. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people, when they have an issue, they go, I've got to get hold of customer service. But as it improves with AI and they get instant responses and resolution, it'll become something that they just do because they're happy to do it. So what we believe is that AI is going to really transform the way that customer support is delivered end to end. And it's going to result in a much more personalized, faster response, which ultimately will lead to, we think, a 5x increase in customer interactions.
That's quite interesting, actually.
Right. And so if we say that 60% out of the gate is amazing for deflection, but if we say that 80% is something that we see happening in the future with AI, automated responses, people think, that means that only 20% will left for humans. But if it's increasing by 5 times, then that 20% of agents actually increases, and their jobs become much more interesting, because now they're dealing with more complex issues that require the human touch rather than that mundane issue. So, we hear the concerns, but I think once you paint the vision, then you build the confidence and you get the support of your team going forward, and it turns into a positive experience that everyone's excited about.
It's really true. I can even think of instances where I've left a return because I couldn't get through to customer support and I just gave up.
Right.
And then another thing which I want to talk about, obviously we're like, okay, and I think it is really interesting how you bring it up, that customers are happier to go towards it. Another concern that people have, and I think everyone in this room probably has felt frustration when they want to talk to a human and they reach a bot. I think we've had some interesting ones. So for example, Hyperjar, I'm not sure if any use it, it's a money management app. They actually saw an increase in their CSAT when they added Ultimate as they go through. So previously, even though people were reaching humans, they were so frustrated before that it was such a negative impact. Whereas now I think we're reading 97%. So curious, are you seeing similar as well? Were there any rocky periods? Like, what do the customers
Our CSAT
feel?
is ambiently always quite high. It's always above 90%, and we always get really sad if it drops. But it would usually dip around Christmas and New Year because it's so busy. So we did spot that in the I think 5 weeks, 6 weeks after introducing Marvin, the CSAT stayed, and it was about 94%, I think, which we're really happy with.
That's really
because we weren't
reassuring
sure
as well.
how they were going to react. And like you were saying, we've made it deliberately so that at any point they can go straight to a human if they need to, and it's quite clear on his responses how they can do that. So we're not saying Marvin has replaced your agents. We're just saying he's here if this is helpful. But if not, you can still go to a human, but
That's
this might be
interesting.
quicker.
If it's a choice, you can actually really measure whether the customers are happy to stay, because some deliberately make it really challenging to reach.
Yeah.
So you don't know, whereas you can
and I
actually see
hated
that they're happier to do it.
I didn't want that to be a thing for us. So even when we set the messaging flow bots up more intricately, at the moment they're quite basic, but it will still be you can get to an agent at any point. Going back to your previous point, all of our customer care advisors are shop floor trained, and they love the products and they want to talk about that with customers. And so having the AI is actually helping those customers who need that product advice and those consultations and that digital version of what you get if you go into a shop and be glittered. That's allowing that, because before it was so hard to get, because we were just bogged down with refunds or complaints or this or that, or, but now, because the AI is able to sort out all those things that are essentially macros, but they just take up loads of time.
It's also negative macros. You think of employee morale, like, wouldn't you much rather be talking about your favourite product versus dealing with someone who's upset and wants a refund?
So all the stuff that Marvin can do, we let him do. And then if you actually do want to talk to a human and talk about what is the best bath bomb I can get to my girlfriend's parents because I'm meeting them for the first time.
What is it?
Straight through to a human. Yeah, we're really good at that.
Sonia, would you echo that as well?
I think internally what we've seen is definitely quicker resolution time.
Speed.
Yeah, speed, exactly. And just more efficiency. And then I remembered, actually a few days ago, I was talking to this client who had an issue, called customer support. A few days after, I was talking to a member from my team, from customer success, and wanted to refer back to that call. And he was like, I was about to explain everything from scratch and like everything that happened. And the CSM pulled the call, had the whole context, like everything was in there in few seconds, literally. And he was like, oh my God, it was so good. So definitely like a first-hand experience, I've heard. And just I think it ties back to the customer experience and customer loyalty, and just something that I think we all have to double down on with everything going on. And
then I suppose, out of curiosity for this room, how many people, if we just show of hands, are currently using AI within their customer support? Okay. We're looking about roughly 50%. How many are thinking about it? Some diehards, no, we're not thinking about it. We have to work harder, we need to change the mind. Would like to put this to everyone. What's your advice? Like, what are your learnings over the last 12 months? Like, how should you approach it if you're taking on AI for the first time? Because obviously there's a fear of missing out, then there's a fear of getting it wrong. I know with us, when we talk to customers, a lot of anxiety around ChatGPT, which is why we have everything very tightly controlled. We never let anything run rain. I mean, maybe we go to you first. Like, what is your advice, someone about to dive into this brave new world?
When we were first approached by Dylan from Ultimate, the languages, there weren't enough. I think it was only in English. And so straight away, for me, it was a no, because I've got teams all over the world and there's no point me only catering for these ones. But he came back and he went, oh, we're language agnostic now. And I was like, oh. And so for us, our considerations were, do you align with our values as a company? I think because Ultimate, you have the enclosed database, so it's not ChatGPT talking about some stuff it's got off Reddit.
Guardrails,
it's
everything's controlled.
So you can trust the responses, and it trains off of your own customer database as well, so it's within our Zendesk instance. And once we'd gone, okay, we think this is a really good idea, we then talked to the teams about it and offered what we thought would be useful to them, but then let them say, actually, no, that's not a problem, or this is a bigger deal, we want you to fix this for us. So giving them an opportunity to tell us, because they're on the front line, so what are their pain points, not what are my pain points, because I don't speak to customers. I do sometimes, just the really angry ones. And so, because they're the ones that are going to be using it, so there's no point me buying a tool for them that they don't like or don't want to use. So that was it's just really important. Involve your team, and if you are the team, make sure it's something you really want to use and not something you're getting just. If it's not going to enhance your day-to-day, then don't do it. But it will, so do it. Yeah.
Tim, over to you. Advice.
So, I mean, some of the key learnings, I think, first of all, I'd say get started, don't wait. I think, we've got a lot of research that says that, an AI-driven customer experience is really going to be the future of competitiveness going forward. And companies that do actually deliver, a personalized, faster customer experience will grow faster. I can drill into all the data with if everybody's interested, but that's the fact. Second thing is take a phased approach. So look for where you think AI is going to have the quickest immediate impact on your business, and then go from there. So it may be AI agents, as Lush found, as a first place to start. Then it may be optimizing your workflows. So removing that sort of manual tagging of tickets and automating it, which I think it's something like 45 seconds per ticket it saves. So it's pretty. And then obviously assisting agents. Yeah. So if you do have to deal with that really angry customer, if AI is giving you all the info you need, then it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So second thing, and then the third thing would be the human touch. I think we've really talked about that. Make sure it's easy for customers to jump off and talk to a human, or only appropriate issues get routed to AI agents, and those require empathy or complexity or go to a human. Next thing I think would be making sure that you have a partner that can give you all of the sort of pre-trained models that you need out of the box. So shameless plug here, but Zendesk, I know we have something like 18 billion customer interactions in our data set, and so when you buy an AI or agent solution from Zendesk that's already trained, you can literally plug it in and start getting value immediately, and from Ultimate as well. So I think those are the key areas of advice that I'd offer.
True. And then to close us out, Sonia?
I would say maybe start with your creating internal AI task force that can consist of different team members. It can be sales, support, it can be data, product, and kind of identifying where the value is and how does it fit in your current workflows. Any quick wins, anything on first touch that you can do. Your CRM, I think that's a huge one. I think your tools need to speak to each other, and you need that 360-degree review of your client. And then measure it and put KPIs on that. Whatever is that area that you want to improve. Is it your CSAT, resolution time, response time? And also something you mentioned, and I completely agree, I think you need a buy-in from your team. You can't do if there's no confidence.
That's a really good point on the KPIs, because obviously if you're just thinking immediately, you're speed to resolution, but for a lot of customers, that's not what's important.
Exactly.
That's not corresponding with your business goals.
True. Exactly. So pulse surveys, how does your team feel about it actually? And where do they see the value?
What kind of KPIs do you look at actually when implementing?
Obviously, we have the making sure that we're getting to everyone in good time, but we don't focus on how quickly we're getting rid of people. We focus on making sure that each person gets what they need from us. So we always look at the CSAT in conjunction with our wait times as well as feedback. Once again, customers are very vocal, so they definitely tell us if we're not doing things the way they need to. But they also love writing really long praise emails, which is glorious. So, it's so lovely. And you do get those. And Marvin has even had some really nice messages. Bless him, he'll never know. So it's just really nice to.
That's funny. Does he reply to those?
No, he doesn't. He's too shy.
So they're picturing.
Yeah, but one thing that we do and we use Zendesk extensively for is because our reporting is really granular down to every single product detail and what the customers are talking to us about. And Marvin does tag for us tentatively, but obviously if an agent has to finish it, they'll edit the tags if they need to. But we're able to get those weekly and monthly and almost instant sometimes results on what is everyone talking to us about, if there's been a new product launch or what Black Friday, this many customers have asked us about this. And so because we're using our data really intelligently alongside our AI and hopefully soon our messaging bots as well, they're getting their babies still. It just gives us this really good holistic picture of the customer's voice and how everyone's feeling about it, rather than just, oh great, we got rid of 50 tickets today, because they might never come back.
It's such a common mistake. We hear that all the time.
We don't have
Yeah.
big red countdowns on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing really well for time, actually. Bang on. Thank you for displaying this clock. For us all. I was like, so thoughtful, or is it a hint? As we go through, so we're running perfectly, which means we've got time for some Q&A. If anyone would like to, we'll also all be around for a little while afterwards as well, if there's any top secret questions. But anything open from the audience? Yeah. If you would like to say who you're with and your name.
Hi, I'm Nico. I'm from Delta String. It's my own Zendesk implementation company. I worked on the project you mentioned, the hyperchart.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was interesting that Richard was saying, Naomi said about kind of what you're measuring when you bring in the bot. Did you find you had to change a lot of what you were measuring in terms of your KPIs, what was successful, what wasn't working? Because when you bring in a bot, you have to measure, how it's achieving differently to your humans, right?
Yeah, for sure. So in the dashboard, suddenly everyone's email response time was incredible. So you have to separate Marvin out from the humans for sure. But as a general rule, because he was starting maybe conversations that then an agent finished, so it wasn't the resolution time. It was first response time's great, that's sorted, and then it's like the result of the conversation that happened afterwards. So some of our queries on the dashboard, we do meddle with the support dashboard a lot, and we have our own one, but some of them are more looking at agent touches, and they're specifically named agents depending on the language they're speaking. Some are more sort of brand focused, and we filter down by like time brackets and stuff, and whether the ticket was created or when it's sold. It depends what the business is asking us as to how we build the reports. But I know this is not an Insights fan chant, but we can do that. So that's also nice. Yeah.
Can I add to that? Just on the, so I would add to that. Obviously, you want to measure the improvements. But I'd say you should definitely the new KPIs you're going to track are the target objectives of AI. So if you're putting in AI to automate your workflows, for example, then how much time do you think that's going to save you? If Zendesk is saying it's going to save you 45 seconds per ticket, then you can calculate quite quickly, how many hours is that a month? And so you should be tracking those success metrics that you have initially from implementing AI, as well as the traditional support metrics.
That is true. So for us, he roughly is the cost of an agent a year, but he's saving the time and the workload of many. So it was a really nice way to report simply back to the business, this is the value. Right. Like it's saving this so many hundreds of hours in doing these tasks that the team can do what the business really wants us to do, which is talk about the product.
Like that's hundreds of hours put into other things.
Yeah. So they get to talk to customers about campaigns and products and values rather than talking about delivery companies throwing parcels over the fence.
Yeah.
For instance.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they still have to do that.
Those dogs, let's go through. And are you able to measure actually any of that sales or e-commerce, or is it little? I think we chatted about this.
We did.
Maybe via payment method, could be some ways of tracking.
Yeah, so
trickier.
Depending on the location, so the UK-based agents, and I think some of the others we have the PCI compliance to be able to take telephone payments. So some of our customers still prefer to place orders that way. Yeah. So we can track those. But since Google got rid of cookies and moved over to different analytics, everything's gone a bit nuts. So we can't technically track at the moment on our website if a customer has spoken to an agent and then placed an order within that session.
Will be super interesting in the future.
I really want to be able to
actually see that value. Coming
that's
in.
One of the things we want to add into the flow bots on the messaging is that you can add in the payment square. That's not a word. I mean, it is a word, but the you can add in the button so that you can drop the products into messaging and they can add them to basket through that chat. Yeah. And check out there, which I'm sure other people are already doing, but to us that's like, that's a whole new world. So that is something we definitely want to do. So at the moment we can track it, but it's very much me counting lines and writing them down for the leadership team, which is what I would like to move away from. Yeah, lots of maths. You know when you're at school and they're like, you're going to need maths. Why? You do.
There they haunted. Well, if the numbers are adding up in the right way, it's all worth it, isn't it? It's dollar signs. Any other questions that people would like to chat on? Yes.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm from Easy Fundraising, a charity fundraising app. So I don't have AI yet, but I really want it. I'm wondering, is there anything you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
Oh, just how much it does for us. I keep saying he is a person. Because I think we were really wary because we didn't, I don't know if you know, but Lush has moved away from big social media platforms, and it's moved away from a lot of stuff that a lot of people are doing because it doesn't align with our ethics and values. And we do a lot of charity work as well, so that's probably a consideration of yours, is where is this data coming from, what's going to happen to it. Knowing that Ultimate, our legal and ethics team did a background check on you. You're all good.
I could have gone
Not
really
you,
wrong.
Rona personally? Yeah.
On Rona personally. But knowing that it's a company you can trust, that have based in the EU, so GDPR, and it's just ticking off all those boxes so you can rest easy. But then also knowing that you can it trains really easily. So sometimes something will happen either in the news, an influencer will use something and will have a product go viral. And so Dean can set up an intent within minutes, and Marvin's already pointing people to the right place. So it just saves us so much time. So it might be that it just, rather than maybe having to beg for help from other people one day, you've got an AI that can do that bit for you so you can carry on. So that we found it really useful there, because we do have random things happen. You never know what's going to happen one day to the next in Lush, which is why it's exciting. But it's good to know that you've got the tools that are so dynamic, you can make them work for you really quickly without having to worry about going through loads of layers of bureaucracy and stuff.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rosalind from a startup university called Nextwood, and you mentioned at the end of your panel the baby message bots.
Yeah.
I'm just interested, what
The
are
baby
those
bots.
babies, why are they babies?
Oh, because we haven't developed them properly yet. So the flow bots that sit within Zendesk messaging, so we moved away from live chat to messaging, because live chat, if someone's on there but all our agents are busy, then the chat just goes away and you've missed them.
Okay.
So with messaging, it stays there, and then even if the agents are all busy, the message is still there and they can reply to them maybe half an hour later. So if you were on a live chat and it was half an hour, you would have gone. But then you go, oh, they've replied to me. And then it's a bit more like a messaging SMS kind of time flow. But also you can integrate the Zendesk flow bots in that. So our North American team use a lot of the articles in Zendesk Guide, because every state in the USA has different laws and taxation and all sorts. So they have a really well set up matrix of articles, so the Flowbot can guide customers depending on their location to what different easy answers, and we want to do that for everywhere else. So if you go onto lush.com at the moment, depending on the language of your browser, you get a widget. And so for me, the challenge is now our English widget covers North America, Australia, New Zealand, most of Middle East, and all the UK and Ireland, which is a whole lot of different rules, delivery, article, everything. So we're going to be developing the flow bots with different triggers and questions, but still making it easy enough to get to a human if they want to, but maybe do a lot more self-service, and waiting for our internal Lush developers to finish the API, because they'll be able to track order status as well through that. So it's just making it easier for the customer. I hate telephone calls because I'm very classically English introvert, so please do not ever call me. But which means I do not ever want to call the gas board or anyone else. So going on and having a messaging where I can check my thing, or I can do something with my account, brilliant. And there's so many of our customers who are like that. But then you've also got the options for the customers who are like, no, I actually need some real human sentient help now. So it's just, and we're forever editing it, and that's what I really like about the Flowbots. It's quite easy in the back end to make it as simple or as convoluted as you need it to be, and really quick to update changes. So we have a bot for every language we serve, and also our app has its own one. That's the most complicated because we've just got one app. So then at very first it's like, who are you? Where are you from? And then it sends them to the right language agents. So it's really good if you like whiteboards and flowcharts, because you can like draw these massive matrices. So it's very simple, but I'm calling them baby bots because it's nowhere near as advanced as what Marvin is doing for us in emails. But we want to emulate what he's already doing and trained for into the Zendesk bots as well. We use Zendesk Enterprise Suite, so it's all part of that package.
And so one more thing, how long has this whole thing taken you?
What year are we? 2022.
We're
So
only at
it
the
took
start.
us. It actually only took us 3 weeks to train to train Marvin from the first day we turned up for the boot camp, which is what Kasha called it, to go live.
Lovely times.
But then since then it's a continuous. So Dean, my assistant, like you were saying, has created this whole new role. So he's always had an interest, like I had, in the IT stuff, and we by accident from being in customer care grew into these very tech heavy areas of the role. And so now he just looks after all our AI. So he trains Marvin daily, and we're gradually adding on to the messaging bots as well. So you can get from zero to started very quickly. It took us 3 weeks to learn like the basic structure of it and how to set it up. And then it's just as long or as simple or as much as you want it to be. I really do recommend having someone who's got the time to spend the time on it, because if you just let him go rogue, then he'll be answering things and you don't know what he's saying. Like, you know what he's saying with the ticket bots because they can only answer what you tell them to. But he might be sending those to the wrong people. Like, for instance, we have a charity pot page, so small charities can apply to Lush for grants. But we had people responding to something else, and he was just sending them all, oh, you can apply to charity pot. Or like if an internal member of staff was asking something, he'd go, oh, all business requests need to go here. So it was just those fine nuances of, no, actually, this is this. And so each day, Dean will say, oh, I've added another bit. So our gift card messaging, which you can imagine, many different countries, different languages, our gift card thing looks like the roots of an old oak tree. It's just huge, but it's amazing because it works now, and it's really easy for him to find where something's gone wrong, or if you need to edit it. And then each of our different teams in different countries can say to us, oh, he's saying this for this, because say our Italian customer care agent, she noticed he was recognising a phrase and not recognising another one, but it's because we don't speak Italian, so we didn't know that one existed. So it's just them going, oh, can you add this phrase in as well? So you can have, like, the fuzzy phrases, so it's like if they say this or this or this, then send them that. So it's logical. It looks terrifying when you first open it, but actually once you start, it's fine.
Also, if it's something like Ultimate GPT, so our GPT-focused product, that will be up and running in a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, immediately, there's actually self-serve on the website, and that's linked entirely with your knowledge base. So, as opposed to where, you've got a lot of training involved and it can answer a lot more sophisticated questions, if you have quite a detailed knowledge base, you can hook it up immediately and get it running. So, literally, technically minutes, actually.
Yeah, and I'm
then
Damien
we'll
from
touch down
Barcelona. Thank you for sharing all this information. And I may have missed it at the beginning of your presentations, both of you. Was the main business driver for implementing an automated agent a business efficiency objective or a customer experience objective, or both? What was the main driver?
I would say both.
Yeah.
On our end, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of both. For us, retail is in a position at the moment where we can't infinitely keep employing more people. We're really concentrating on want to keep going as businesses. So, but we want to keep our current customers happy while getting new ones in. So it's just that constant balance of looking after your customer base, making your business efficient, looking after the staff you have got and making them as efficient as they can be, because we're not in a position to hire 10, 15, 20 more people. So, yeah.
And Jen.
Thanks.
Beds
I'm
and
Jan
Bars.
from Beds and Bars. We do backpacker hostels and Christopher's Inns.
Yeah.
We have trained up our own ultimate bots, and it's been going great for about 8-9 months, I think. So really, really happy with the progress we've seen as well. I had a question. I think it's Sanya. You touched on the importance of integrating with your existing CRM. We're in the process of doing that, and the way we're going about it is we're basically creating a customer object that our CRM can spit out and Tofi has access to. A twofold question around that. What are some of the hurdles, if any, you faced with sort of merging that data set into your intents? Are there any challenges we need to watch out for, or things? And then the second question on top of that is, what impact has it had for you in your business before and after you had that big CRM sort of marketing data set?
Yeah.
And
I think on our end, it was really about the integration itself. That was very seamless with Zendesk, let's say, or any other Salesforce, like any other tool. So it was quite straightforward in that end. And I think what gave us the most is what I mentioned, that 360-degree review of a client. Like everything that's going on at any point of customer journey is going to be there. And no matter who talks to the client at what point, you're going to have the full context, full visibility. And that's what end customer wants, right? They don't want to repeat information. They don't want to, explain again what happened. No, everything is going to be there for you. So I think that's the biggest value, we've seen on our end.
But I mean, because we've recently also integrated it with our reservation system, so that gets access to all of our rates and availability for certain dates. So we found that quite seamless to integrate. I was just wondering, once you get a lot of this personal data in, were there any obstacles? Or it sounds like you had a pretty seamless transition, really.
I would say on our end, on our end, yeah.
That's good to know. Thanks.
In that case, we'll wrap it up from here. We'll be available afterwards if you want to chat to us. Also, there's going to be a nice brunch coming in shortly, so please do stick around. And also we have some of our team here. Adam, who's a member of our sales team, extremely knowledgeable. Is also available for very, very specific ultimate questions. But thank you so much everyone for coming, and thank you so much to our panelists today. I know some of you had to travel out of town to come for this, so we're delighted that you could make it. And also Aircall for all their help hosting this. It's been a pleasure. All right, then I think we'll give a final clap to our beautiful panel.